Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of these thrift store finds videos. I went back to one of the farther away Goodwill bargain bins that we frequent. There are two that are within an hour or so that are a little bit out of the normal route, but we try to go to every once in a while. This one, last time I was there with Amanda, did pretty well. And of course, it's Pennsylvania, and it's been more than a month since I've been there, so there was new construction on the way. And then coming back, there was an accident and everything that I got stuck behind in traffic. So that was a long morning, but it was great. Tons of book finds. I only found one thing today that was not a book that was worth getting that I brought home, and it was definitely by far the best thing I found all day, but you won't see that right now. First, let's go through all of the books that I found, because this was great, especially for hardcover books, the kind of general fiction stuff that if you can get it super cheap, it's usually a pretty fast turnover. They're not worth a lot individually, but if you can get them for like a quarter or 50 cents a piece, it's really great. So before I get into those, I found some kids' books as well in the bargain bins. Some Junie B. Jones, Deep and Dark and Dangerous, a small collection of Generation Girl, some shimmery covers, the kind of thing that only works if you have a lot, so at least 4 of them. Hopefully not many of those there are in the series. Some The World of Teddy Ruxpin hardcover. Those are pretty cool to find. Found a couple of those. We have the songbook, grunge music, that's interesting. Tap your feet to the beat. The Airship, Discover a Whole New World. Some Berenstain Bears. The Little Critter, Red Riding Hood, and this one has a few of these fold-out flap type things. You get the grandma, and you can see that. And those are thankfully intact, because usually with these and like pop-up books and those kind of things, they are so destroyed. If they survived the kid that originally owned them, which is very unlikely, if a page opens in the bargain bin, that's destroyed. It just gets moved around and ripped up. Some Dr. Seuss, One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, Yertle the Turtle and Other Stories, and Dr. Seuss's Sleep Book. Those are for kids. And one other kids series, a handful of, I was hoping to find more of them, but it's a good chunk of the series, the hardcover editions of a series of unfortunate events. Let's see here, they came out of order. We have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. I kept looking around, could not find 6. It was there, I missed it. But looking around, couldn't find it. Only one paperback, like fantasy or sci-fi book. There were a few, but they were pretty damaged. There was one bin towards the back that definitely had some water damage to it, and that's where a lot of the paperback, like fantasy and stuff, was, and they all had like at least a little bit of water damage, so I didn't touch any of those. But Orson Scott Card in Heartfire, never heard of this one. Grab that, and then a whole bunch of like general fiction hardcovers for the various places where we have books up. Macari, eBay, Pengo, that kind of stuff, but a whole bunch of books that are going to be perfect for those types of stores. All nice hardcovers, the kind of bestsellers that come out. They end up charging, like some of these, $26.99. It's crazy to me how all these very general fiction, middle-aged mom reading at the beach type books come out, and they're like 15 to 30 bucks, and within 6 months they're at $1 to $3 at a thrift store. They come out, make a ton of money, and then just go in the trash immediately. Those kind of books, so many of those. Speaking of which, that describes like the entire career of Nora Roberts, writing as J.D. Robb. Every time one of these books come out, huge bestsellers, they charge an arm and a leg, and they're immediately just in thrift stores. But there are a lot of people that still want to go back and read them, and if you can find them, again, for like a quarter to 50 cents, they are worth grabbing, especially when you get some that are go together either by the same author or theme or whatever. I had a few of those, 2 of those, Daniel Silva, again, 2 more of these, and 3 more with David. found a few of his another time. I'm trying to remember if we have any of those left or those already sold, but at least 3. So I like with those kind of authors to get a decent lot ready, and the standard for us that we do that with is Janet Ivanovich. What book find would not be, would be complete without Janet Ivanovich? Just about every time I come home with one of these big book hauls, I have to have anywhere from 1 to like 10 of her books, every time. Orphan Train, a novel, sounds depressing. A Jack Reacher novel, A Wanted Man. I know those are popular books. Never read any of them. I have no idea what they're about. David Morrell, Creepers, Do Not Disturb. And the last 2, Bill Cosby, Time Flies. And this one looks kind of interesting. It goes against the grain a little bit from some of these. Operation Roswell. The best-selling author of UFO, Crash at Roswell. So that was intriguing to pick up. And that was all just at that Goodwill bargain bin. And then on the way home, I stopped by Half Price Day at Salvation Army. We've now gone 3 of the past like 4 weeks and found a lot of good books, and that's very unusual. Usually it's like 1 week, and then if you go back the next week, it's still empty. Like they haven't refilled anything. The books come, but lately this month it's been worth going. Just about every week, find some books, and this is no exception. Another big box of books. Let's see if I can pull these out. A stack of books by Kate Ellis. And again, these are the type of things, the young adult fiction or general fiction type stuff always work really well when you get a big lot by the same author. Grab those. A handful of the Ranger's Apprentice series, very random volumes, 1, 2, 4, 7, and 10. But we have a couple more of those. I know we have 1 and 2, and I think we have a couple other ones to add, so those are ones you just kind of set aside and collect until you get a big collection or the whole thing. Everything is Illuminated. I've heard that name before. It's a bestseller, but I have no idea what it is, but yes, I know that this is a popular book. A few more hardcovers. Pull these out. These are part of a series by the same author, Theodore Goss, but European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman and The Sinister Mystery of the Mesmerizing Girl. Pretty interesting covers. 2 nice hardcovers in great shape that go together. And Orson Scott Card, Visitors. A few more paperbacks. Lion of War series, Day of War, and Covenant of War. Those go together. And this is a pretty interesting cover. Looks like there's a few in this series, but Megan E. O'Keefe, Catalyst Gate. And one last book, this I grabbed. Amanda's probably going to read this one. Still Fooling 'Em with Billy Crystal. She likes Billy Crystal. Hopefully she will find this book interesting. That was it for all the books, just between those 2 places. I was out for a while to get through all those, but that is a lot of hardcovers in particular, more than we'd normally grab. And there is one last thing, I'm looking at it over there behind the camera, that I found, and that is going to be a video right after this. So I'm going to film that and put that up separately right after this because it's very cool. It deserves its own little spotlight. The only thing I found all day today that wasn't books, there were no DVDs or VHS or anything at all at the first place I went to. It was unusual. There's always something there. I mean, there had to been at least 20 bins. A lot of books, a lot of clothing, and a lot of very junk housewares. Just kind of kitschy things that are broken, things that are just kind of worthless. So it was no video media of any kind, and no toys either. It was nothing toy wise. The other store that I go to for the Half Price Day, we always look through the CDs and DVDs and whatever, but they're pretty much never worth grabbing. They overpriced to the point where Half Price Day brings it down to what would be a normally expected level for a thrift store. And there were a couple cool things there. There were some HD DVDs, which I don't run to very often, but there weren't anything interesting, and just because they're HD DVDs, not worth picking up for. At Half Price Day, it would have been $3 still. For a movie you don't really care about. It's cool HD DVD. You don't see it very often, but yeah, not worth it for some of that stuff, or a just a very common title. So nothing too great from that. definitely look forward to the next video. Again, I'm going to be putting up right after this. I am very, very excited. I keep looking behind the camera because it's staring at me. It's awesome. It is a amazing addition to the collection that we have for one of our favorite shows, and between the two of us, is one that we both love, a franchise we both love, a huge science fiction franchise, and this might be the prettiest box, just the outer box, the prettiest box in our entire DVD collection. It's awesome, just that outer box. Really cool, really exciting.